Hey guys, my video didn't record the audio in the beginning and it went through slow motion as you can see. So I'm going to skip through this. What I'm making is peach butter. I've got my water on to boil to blanch my peaches. I'm taking them out right now. I'm putting them in the shock water, which is just ice water. You want to do that to stop any cooking because you don't want your peaches to be cooked yet. Now, I am making butter, and they can be a little stringy because we are going to make them into, a smooth butter. But that's what the process is right now. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this video up to where we get to our audio. So I do apologize for that. I hope you'll hang with me. I've got everything set up at the table. Willis just came in. He's not wanting to be on camera. Hey, Willis.
Hello.
I'm making peach butter from these peaches.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this to come down too, so you can see what I'm doing. There, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Let's see when I get there. Okay, I got all my peaches and stuff. So like I said, it takes about 10 pounds of peaches, and I think that's about right. Or what I do is kind of gauge it to the size of your crock pot. And this is my crock pot bowl, or, crock. And I like to have it filled up to the top, maybe a little bit of heaping. And you put your lid on it, and it can go up to 6 hours. Well, 6 hours up to overnight. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. I know when I do apples, because they are a little bit harder, I do overnight for them. So what we're going to do is we are going to peel these, take the seeds out, and like I said, it really doesn't matter about what they look like. This also takes 2 cups of sugar. The recipe calls for brown sugar, but if you don't like the taste of brown sugar, or you just want to try, you can mix white and brown sugar. And the spices, now this is a spiced peach butter. You don't have to have it spiced, but we do like it, so I use cardamom, cinnamon, and ginger. And that's good, isn't it, Willis?
It is. Very good.
And so let's get started here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to peel these, and look how easy that peeling. I could actually just have it come off with my fingers from blanching. Okay. These I don't think are cling free, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to get them off this seed the best I can. They are very ripe. And then in there, I throw away the seeds, and I save these peach peelings for jelly. I made jelly last week too. So let me go ahead and I'll separate the seeds. That's what I meant to do anyway. Transfer that and put the seeds in here. Now, if you have, if you want to use the peelings for jelly, just make sure that the peelings are all good without blemishes or anything. Now, this one had a little blemish, so I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in the throwaway bowl. I don't feed this to my goats or anything because of the seeds. They really don't care for peaches so much. So it'll go in the compost without the seeds. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing here. Just peeling this. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to thank all my new subscribers. Thanks guys for sticking with us, even though we haven't been on. I did a video earlier this week with the bees, and did a garden tour around what was happening around here with our gardens. And then today, once I'm finished this, I'm going to go and get the honey from the bees. We're going to do that. He's, I think, going to cut some tomato steaks right now, waiting for me to get this done. So we'll be harvesting honey, and I'll probably have a little video on that too. I'm so excited that my bees are doing so well. Such a blessing, for sure. I just love peaches. My goodness, look at that. The color is unbelievable. Just think about when God was up in heaven, he was like, oh, I think I'll make a peach. I think I'll go ahead and make a peach tree today with beautiful peaches, and this will be what peach is. Peach color and a peach. So, it's really, that's how I think anyway. Boy, so pretty. This time of morning, I'm not too talkative like I normally am. Sometimes I am. Now, my friend Kathy would probably say that I am, because we go out for our, once a month we go out to eat, go to Hobby Lobby, and just have a little fun girls' day. I probably talk her head off. But that's probably because I'm by myself most of the time, with Willis being a truck driver. Boy, these peaches smell so good. Oh my goodness. It's everything I can do just not to dive into them and eat them all. Now, if I were making canned peaches, I would take more care in what my peaches look like. But because this is butter or spread, in case you don't know what a butter is, it's an old-fashioned term for like a spread. It's not preserves, but it's more of a spread that people used on their jellies and, on their toasts, like jellies and jams and stuff. It's just something else. My mom used to make pear butter. We always had a lot of pears. Of course, apple butter. I don't think they made peach butter. Dad didn't have he had peach trees, and he was in a valley over in Virginia, but he never really had a lot of luck with peaches. We keep trying here, but Georgia peaches, you can't beat them. And he got this bushel box for $38 down in Georgia in the roadside stand, and the guy was there this week too, so I said, I'm going to go by there and see if I can find him again, and he was right there. And we also got a watermelon. Oh man, that was so good. I love watermelon. Willis and I could eat watermelon once a week. Actually, we do, if we can find them. So I am just going to continue going through all these peaches and putting them in here in my Crock-Pot crock. And I will be back. Guys, well, I'm back. I got my crock filled. And what I want to do now is, because there's so much juice in here, butter is thick. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just take my 1 measure cup here. And I'm just going to kind of get a lot of this juice out, and I'm going to put it in my bowl here that I'm saving for jelly, because this is going to be cooking down in the crock pot, and it's going to have a lot of, see all that juice? You don't want your fruit to be too watery, even with its natural juices, because this is going to be a spread. So I'm probably going to take out about 3 cups of this. You're going to add sugar to it too in a few minutes, and that will also make it nice and juicy. So I just wanted to let you know about that. With apples, they don't tend to be this juicy when you're making apple butter because the apples are a little bit more harder fruit. So I'm just going around this and getting out the juice that I can. But waste not, want not. You know me. I use the fruit for everything. Look at that beautiful juice, and I just poured it right in my bowl. Willis, you won't believe how much juice is over here. He's in here watching TV, taking a break from cutting those tomato steaks. All right, I think that's good enough. Let me just go ahead and press down with my wooden spoon here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, see how nice and thick it is now? It doesn't have all that excess juice. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the sugar and the spices right on top, and then we'll put it in the crock pot itself, start it up, and I'm going to check it in 6 hours, and we'll see where we are. Now, you can either have chunky spread and kind of just leave it however it cooks down, or you can put it in your food mill and make it a little bit smoother, or a food processor, blender, whatever is your preference. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 2 cups of brown sugar because we really like brown sugar. You could actually add molasses to this if you wanted to have more of a molasses flavor. That would be yummy. I like to experiment with recipes because I know the flavors are going to be good, and we'll always use them for something. Okay. Now, this is cardamom, and I'm going to go ahead and put 2 teaspoons of cardamom in here. We love cardamom. Not a lot of recipes call for cardamom, but since I discovered it last year, we've just fallen in love with it. I know it's been around forever, but it's an Indian spice. And this, I believe, is green cardamom, so it's not hot like a lot of cardamoms can be. All right, I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. My little flat there doesn't want to stay down. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do is put 1 teaspoon of ginger in. Now, of course, you know, as it's cooking down, you can mix it up and you can go ahead and adjust your spices accordingly. If you want cloves, you can put cloves in here or nutmeg. You know, like I said, just kind of experiment. It's fun. Dropping everything. All right. Okay, so just to recap, it's 2 cups of brown sugar. And you don't have to use brown sugar. You can use white if you want to. Or a mixture of both. And then your spices. And I use 2 teaspoons of cardamom, 1 teaspoon of ginger, and 1 tablespoon of ground ginger. 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. All right, look, it's already got that beautiful color. Oh my goodness. Now, as this is cooking down, and if it gets too juicy, you can go ahead and kind of get some of the juice off. I'm going to just go ahead and go with that and see how this works out. It should be great. I'm going to put it in the crock pot now, and I'll be back. So, see you soon. Hey guys, well, I'm back. Sorry about the first part of the video. For some reason, it was on slow motion, so I kind of had to start in the middle for this peach butter. But let me show you what I've got here. Put this down. And there it is. I had it in the crock pot all day. I took the lid off about an hour ago and just let it cook down. So a lot of that juice cooked down, as you can see, about an inch. Also, if you have too much juice, because like I said, peaches are really juicy, you can go ahead and kind of skim off the juice and put it into a jar and save that for jelly, which is really good. And it'll have a little bit of spice to it, so it'll be really yummy. Um, and that's what I'm going to do because I did have to skim a little bit off. Just because I like it to be thicker. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my food mill. If you're not familiar with this, it's a food mill, and got it right on the side of a pan in my sink. This is going to be hot. Let me go ahead and put that down so you can see what I'm doing there. There's the food mill, and I'm just going to ladle the peaches right in there. And this is going to make it a really nice, smooth texture. If you don't have a food mill, you can use a food processor or a blender. But let me just tell you, if you are going to use something like that, you're going to want to wait till it's cool because this is very hot and they have lids and it could build up some heat and you don't want any kind of accident and getting burned that way. That's just from experience. I always like using the food mill. It's an old-fashioned, it's just the way that I grew up making applesauce, apple butter, peach butter, pear butter. We always used our food mill. Every year you have to scrub them with the SOS pad because they do like to get a little rusty. I don't know why, but it's just what they're made out of, this kind of steel. Now this is going to be a little bit runny, so I'm going to put it back on the stove, and that's one of the reasons I'm putting it into a pot, milling it into another pot. And I'll probably cook it for an hour just to thicken it up. You do that with applesauce too, especially if you've added sugar to it. Sugar always creates juice. But this is what I'm doing. I've probably got another 2 food mill full of peaches to go. But for me, this is worth it. I just love doing old-fashioned, trying to be as natural as possible, doing the way I remember, trying to keep the traditions alive. I always said, well, listen, I always say that we were born in the wrong centuries because we always feel like, oh, we should have been born way back when, you know. But actually, maybe we were born in the right time so we could keep these traditions alive. I've heard some people say that recently, and I think that's true. Because, you know, if you don't keep it alive, keep it going, it'll be lost. All history will be lost. Good or bad. That way you know if you want to repeat it or not, right? And just get a little piece of something out of there. Probably a little piece of stem from the peaches. And that's one good reason I like to put it through this food mill, is because it does strain it. And anything like that will be caught in the colander part of this food mill. Oh, it really looks good. All right, I just have a little bit more to go. And then we will be on to the next step. I think I can get all of this in there. This is just so much fun for me. Okay, go ahead and get that through there. And I will meet you at the stove. Okay, sorry about my hair. We just came in from riding the four-wheeler out back in the woods. Okay, this is at the stove, and I've got this nice, it's really nice. You could can it right here. Let me go ahead and put this down so you can see what I've got. Look at that. Yep. It's nice and thick. But I'm going to go ahead and cook this down on medium, not quite medium high, but a little bit higher than medium, if that makes sense, because my stove has a medium, that in between medium and medium high. You don't want to scorch it because it will affect the flavor. But I'm going to go ahead and let this cook down for about an hour. And in the meantime, what I'll do is get my jars ready. I'm going to can this with boiling water bath. I'm going to use pints. The recipe says approximately 6 to 7 jars. And so I've got 6 here and I'll get 7. I'm going to fill these with hot water and have them ready. I'll get my boiling water bath canner on the stove and I'll have that simmering. So everything will be ready for that. Now at this point, it's a good time to go ahead and taste if you want to add more sugar, if you want to add more spices. So I'm going to go ahead and taste this, see what I think. Oh, that's really good. But I think I'm going to go ahead and add some cinnamon, some more cinnamon, and maybe a little bit of ginger. And it's not in order, that is for sure. Oh, here we go. Okay. Just a little bit. I'm going to mix that up. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and taste that again. That's perfect. So you just go ahead and, tweak your spices however, and your sugar level however you think. So I'm going to let this go ahead and cook down, and we'll be back. Okay, I have got it cooked down as far as I want. It took about an hour on medium, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into my pint jars. I've got my boiling water bath canner simmering, and I'm going to go ahead and just pour some of that water from these jars in there because it is hot. Now make sure I'm not wasting any water. All right, that's 6 of them. I've got my tongs and my little tool to pull my lids out. And let me see, what am I looking for? Let me go on the other side here. I had a ladle out, but I guess probably in the dishwasher, so I'll just use this spoon. That'll work just as good. And I'm just going to fill these up, and I'm going to leave a 1/2-inch headspace. Again, sorry about my hair. I know it looks crazy. But we went on a four-wheeler ride back in the woods, setting up our game cameras just to see what's out there. This is what it's going to look like, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it smells so good. Get a little more organized, Denise. And these pints will water bath can for 15 minutes. And if you're not familiar with that, it's not pressure canning. It's a rolling boil. You can use a stock pot if you don't have a water bath canner. But like I said before, check your thrift shops. That's where I got this one. I had one for about 10 years and it finally got a little pinhole and it was rusting through. So I just went to my thrift store and I looked and I found one and I saved a bunch of money. I think these are about $100 now. Actually, bought this for $10 with the lid. Alright, that is 4, 5, 6. I bet y'all get 7. You know, and this is a really nice gift too. If you want to give a homemade gift to somebody, you can use it as a spread. Like I said, you can use it over ice cream. If you want to use it in a quick bread, like a peach bread or an apple bread or any kind of say applesauce cake, you can use this instead of the applesauce and make it a peach sauce cake. Say that 3 times fast. Right there. So it is very versatile. It's just something really yummy. If you don't want to water bath can it, you can also freeze this. Make sure you have freezer bags. You may want to double your freezer bag, and I would definitely just use quart bags. But you can do that too. Alright, I think I can only fit 7 in my canner, so that's what I'm going to stop at. And then whatever I've got left, I'll can a little later. That was a little bit full. But what I use as a guide for my headspace is right here. You can see it's about 1 inch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to wipe each one of these with a clean cloth. I use a wet cloth. I just go around wherever the ring and the lid is going to adhere to. It'll make sure that you have a good seal. And also this is a good way to, again, check your jars for any cracks or anything that you think might stand in the way of it sealing right. Everything looks good. Make sure that your jars are always clean and always warm when you're doing hot to hot. Okay. We'll put our lids on. And my lids, I know a lot of people don't do this anymore. I still do. I think it makes for a better seal, and that is making sure your lids and your rings are hot. That's rubber, and it's going to make sure that it has a good seal to the glass. I just feel like it's not broke, don't fix it. It's always worked. My hair is looking horrible. Okay, and you just hand tighten. Not loose, but you want it tight enough where, you know, your hand tighten it. I'm going to put this down in here. And we're going to turn this up, and as soon as it comes to a rolling boil, that's when we'll count our 15 minutes. And also you want at least 1 inch of water over your jars. As you put your jars in here, the water does raise the level, but it looks like I may have to add some more water. We'll see after I put these 3 in here. And, you know, make sure that your rings are rust-free. Your rings here are rust-free. I usually discard them, throw them away, if I think that they're too rusty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pour this water in here that I had my rings in. There we go. And we are at 1 inch. There we go. Let me just put that down there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this on high. Rolling boil, and then I'll time it for 15 minutes, and then we'll be back.